Good evening and welcome back. You're listening to another deep dive on Off the Record. And tonight we are stepping into the dark and meticulously curated and honestly, utterly terrifying architecture of the modern internet.
Oh, yeah, it is terrifying.
Right. Because we have in front of us the complete film treatment for a prestige psychological thriller called The Golden Ratio. And let me be exceptionally clear right at the top of this show here. This isn't just a breakdown of a movie.
Not at all.
This is a forensic autopsy of modern identity. It is a mirror held up to the horrifying speed at which our culture mutates ordinary breathing human beings into consumable, mathematically optimized product.
Yeah, it's all dictated by the invisible hand of algorithmic manipulation.
Exactly. It is dense, it is provocative, and honestly, it is a necessary text for anyone trying to navigate the digital age without, losing their soul.
It truly is. I mean, I was reading through the source material last night, and it functions as this queasy, anxiety-inducing satire.
Right.
Like, if you can imagine the feral desperation of Nightcrawler colliding with the absolute bloodthirsty social climbing mania of Black Swan, well, you are entirely in the right zip code.
Oh, that is a great comparison.
Thanks. But what makes The Golden Ratio so singularly brilliant is that the entire mechanism of terror isn't supernatural, and it isn't strictly violent in the traditional sense. It is built entirely on image economics.
Image economics, right.
Yeah, it asks a very simple, very dangerous question. What actually happens when a person's existence is optimized for a timeline? When your life is no longer a life, but a piece of intellectual property?
Exactly. And we're going to unpack every single agonizing layer of this. But before we get into the sociology and the psychology of it all, I just need to address the physical reality of this situation in this room right now.
Oh boy, here we go.
So listen, because our director, Ryan Thomas, who is, and I say this with total unvarnished professional objectivity and absolute fuck, decided to keep us in the studio until midnight to record this.
He did. We are very much here at midnight.
Right. And as an apology, or perhaps just a sadistic power play from a man who understands leverage, he has provided us with this spread.
It is quite the spread. I have to admit, it's a massively intimidating roast. It looks like something you'd find at the center of a medieval banquet.
It is ridiculous.
The sheer volume of slow-cooked meat on this table is staggering. And accompanying it, we have 3 bottles of very, very expensive, high-proof, artisanal mezcal.
Which is just a total shithead move.
Yeah.
He knows we have a marathon of recording ahead of us, and we are diving into incredibly dense psychological material, and he leaves us this incredibly rich, heavy, sleep-inducing meat.
And the mezcal.
And the mezcal, which, by the way, I have to talk about the delivery method for a second, because when he carried that heavy oak tray in here, I don't know if you noticed, but he was wearing this tailored linen shirt.
I did notice the shirt, yeah.
And he had the sleeves rolled up to the elbows. And the vascularity in his forearms was just aggressive, like obnoxiously prominent veins. Yeah, disgusting. And he smells like cedar wood and, I don't know, impossibly expensive fabric softener and danger. He's a cock for making us work this late. Just a total arrogant cock.
Okay, well, we should probably...
But his jawline in the studio lighting it honestly makes me want to scream. I want to pin him against the soundproofing foam and just absolutely scream at him. And maybe bite his shoulder, out of pure professional frustration.
Okay, well, let's carefully step over that landmine and refocus our energy.
Fine.
Before we dive into the deep end of the mezcal and the psychological trauma of The Golden Ratio, Ryan did leave a very specific note on the mixing board.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he requested that we do our vocal warm-up before we start recording. He felt the enunciation in our last show was a bit muddy.
Okay, I hate him. I hate his perfect stupid notes.
Yeah.
Fine. Together.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Perfect. Impeccable. He can choke on it. All right, let's pour a glass of this ridiculously smoky mezcal, take a bite of this ridiculously tender roast, and establish the mission statement for tonight.
Let's do it.
Why are we doing this? Why do you, the listener, need to sit with us in the dark and dissect this treatment? Because The Golden Ratio isn't fiction anymore. It is a documentary of the present tense.
Yeah, it really is.
It's about how the internet doesn't just change our consumer behavior. It literally rewrites our neural pathways until we view ourselves not as people, but as intellectual property. It is about the absolute death of the private self.
I'll cheers to that. The first sip, oh wow.
Right.
That is incredibly smooth, but it hits the back of the throat like a freight train.
Yeah.
There's a serious burn there.
It's good. It's really good. Damn him and his impeccable palate. Okay, let's begin at the baseline. Before the algorithm takes over, we need to establish the completely opposite realities of our two central characters before they collide. Let's look at Arthur Bellamy.
Arthur Bellamy is the definition of crushing, suffocating mediocrity. He is 50 years old. He is a high school math teacher in a dying Midwestern suburb.
Right, exactly.
And the treatment goes out of its way in agonizingly vivid detail to establish that he is painfully average in every single measurable metric of human existence.
Yeah, he has the thinning hair.
Thinning hair, wrinkled, faded polo shirts. He eats silent lunches in his car. He has decades of routine just weighing him down like an invisible anchor.
Decades of routine. I want to pause here. I want you to really, truly think about the psychological weight of that phrase. 50 years old. You wake up. You put on a cotton polo shirt that has been washed so many times the color doesn't even hold its shape anymore.
Yeah, it's just limp.
Just sort of limply hugs your neck. You drive the exact same route past the exact same strip malls to the exact same beige building. You stand under fluorescent lights that hum at a frequency that slowly gives you a headache over the course of 8 hours.
And the students.
And the students, they don't look at you. They look right through you. You are a piece of furniture in the architecture of their use. You are an NPC in their video game.
Wow, yeah, NPC is exactly it.
The other teachers forget you exist.
Yeah.
You are utterly, entirely invisible.
It's the invisibility of middle age specifically for a certain type of man who hasn't achieved any sort of distinct societal status. Arthur isn't a tragic figure in the classical dramatic sense.
No, not at all.
He isn't dealing with a spectacular, fiery downfall. He didn't lose millions in the stock market. His wife didn't leave him in a dramatic screaming match in the rain. He is dealing with the slow, quiet, agonizing erosion of never having mattered at all.
It's so bleak.
When the treatment mentions his silent lunches, it physically pains me. The idea of this man, day after day, year after year, unwrapping a sandwich in a quiet room, completely untouched by the world around him.
Yeah.
He is in a sensory deprivation tank of his own life. It is a profound, aching loneliness that most people don't want to look at because it's too terrifyingly common.
And into this void steps Sienna Vale, 15 years old, a varsity cheerleader. But the text doesn't just describe her as popular. It describes her as having impossible charisma and a frightening instinct for human weakness.
Frightening is the right word.
She is the absolute antithesis of Arthur. Where he is invisible, she is hypervisible. She commands the room without speaking. But more importantly, she possesses a predatory understanding of social dynamics. She understands power.
She's not just popular in the way teenagers used to be popular. She's calculating. Unlike every other student in that dying school, she actually pays attention in Arthur's Algebra 2 class.
Right.
But she's not paying attention to the math. She's paying attention to him. She observes him the way a biologist observes a microbe. She compliments his handwriting on the chalkboard.
Which is so weird for a teenager.
Very weird. She laughs at his dry, awkward, desperate little jokes. She notices the symmetry in his lesson plans. She is mapping him.
Okay, let me push back on this for a second, or at least pose a question to you, because this is the entire crux of her character, and I think we need to get this right.
Sure, what is it?
Is Sienna genuinely evil at this point? Is she acting maliciously? Or is she simply the inevitable logical product of a generation raised entirely inside algorithmic culture?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Think about it. When you are born into a world where everything is content, where everyone is a brand, where every single human interaction can be mathematically optimized, monetized, or leveraged for social capital, is she evil? Or is she just applying the basic logic of her environment to the people around her?
See, that is the terrifying genius of the premise, and I think you are hitting the nail on the head. I don't think she sees herself as evil. I don't think she wakes up wanting to ruin a man's life.
Right.
I think she views human beings as unoptimized data sets. She looks at Arthur and she doesn't see a sad, lonely 50-year-old man who needs a friend. She sees an undervalued asset.
An asset, exactly.
She recognizes that in the current internet economy, authenticity, or rather the highly curated, aesthetically pleasing illusion of authenticity, is the most valuable currency on the market. And Arthur, in all his pathetic, wrinkled polo, depressed glory, is a gold mine of raw material. He is authentic sadness, and sadness sells.
Which leads us to the inciting incident, the hook. The moment the trap snaps shut. One afternoon after class, the room is empty. She stays behind. And she delivers a line to him that alters the trajectory of his entire existence.
I know exactly what line you're talking about.
She looks at this invisible man, this man who has not been truly perceived by another human being in perhaps decades. And she says, "You have a face people remember."
It gives me chills. Every time I read that line, it gives me chills.
But
because it is the most calculated, devastating line disguised as a profound truth.
Exactly. Because Arthur laughs.
Yeah.
He laughs awkwardly, defensively, because he knows he doesn't. He knows he has the most forgettable, aggressively average face on the planet.
Right.
But Sienna doesn't laugh. She just holds the eye contact. She lets the silence stretch. And in that silence, she plants the seed of vanity in a completely barren desert.
We really have to analyze the psychological vulnerability here. If you tell a handsome, successful, wealthy man that he has a face, people remember he nods. He expects it. It just bounces off his armor of self-esteem.
Right, he doesn't care.
But if you tell a man who has been starving for acknowledgement for 50 years that he is memorable, you become his god. You are giving him water in a historic drought.
Oh, yeah.
You are exploiting his deepest, most unspoken, most desperate desire, the desire to simply exist in the eyes of another person. It's not about vanity initially, it's about ontological confirmation. She's telling him, you are real.
It's brilliant. It's a flawless psychological maneuver.
Perfect.
And honestly, analyzing this is making me parched. Let's pour another measure of this mezcal.
I will gladly take another pour. Thank you.
The smoky finish on this is just, it's unbelievable. Ryan, you absolute shithead. You have exquisite taste. It infuriates me.
It is very good.
How does a man with such a punchable personality have such a refined understanding of agave?
The roast is incredible, too. The fat just renders perfectly. It practically melts on the tongue.
Just like how Sienna is slowly rendering Arthur's psychological defenses, the meat just falls off the bone. So let's move into how she actually operationalizes this, the manufacturing of the Math Man, the retro academic fashion project.
Right. So having planted that seed of vanity, Sienna approaches Arthur a few days later with this pitch. She frames it as an innocent extracurricular activity, a youth photography competition for a regional art contest.
Right.
She wants to photograph him around town in old-fashioned professor outfits, and Arthur's immediate reaction is correct. He hesitates. His internal alarm bells are ringing. He feels it's inappropriate, strange, embarrassing.
Because it is.
Exactly. He's a 50-year-old teacher. She's a 15-year-old student. The power dynamics, the optics, everything is wrong.
But Sienna is a master of framing. She anticipates the hesitation, and she gives him a very strict set of rules to make him feel safe, no touching, public locations only, highly artistic, completely harmless.
It's also calculated.
And then she delivers the final nail in the coffin. You'd be helping me build my portfolio for college. She gives him a noble excuse to indulge his newfound vanity. She makes him the benevolent educator helping a gifted student.
Why does he actually agree, though? The outline lists it perfectly, but we need to dig into the why. 1, he's lonely. 2, he's flattered. 3, he desperately, achingly wants to believe someone sees value in him.
That third point is everything.
It is the anchor of the entire tragedy. He wants to believe the fantasy more than he trusts his own reality. He suppresses his intuition because the dopamine hit of being chosen is too powerful to resist.
So they begin these photo sessions. And Sienna is a visionary of aesthetics. She isn't just taking snapshots on an iPhone. She curates him. Wool coats, heavy textured fabrics, old mechanical calculators.
Wait, the vintage look?
Chalk dust, deliberately dusted on the sleeves, bookstores at sunset, rainy football bleachers, fluorescent classrooms long after hours. She isn't just taking pictures. She is building a melancholic European intellectual cinematic universe around a guy who eats bologna sandwiches in a Honda Civic.
And we have to ask why this specific aesthetic? Why not make him look like a modern influencer? Because Sienna understands the counterculture of the internet. The internet is flooded with hyper-polished, brightly lit, screamingly loud content.
Exactly.
So what stands out? Quietness, sadness, the romanticization of the broken older man. She creates a visual language of profound solitary intellect.
She posts these images anonymously online. No names, no locations, just the Math Man. And within days, it explodes. It goes completely viral. People become utterly obsessed with this mysterious figure. And this is where we see the internet do what the internet does best. It projects its own massive collective desires onto a completely blank canvas.
Let's look at some of these viral comments from the source material because they are hilariously accurate to how internet culture speaks and consumes identity.
Read them, read them.
Why is this teacher kind of majestic? He looks like a divorced philosopher. Need a skincare routine. And my personal favorite, this man definitely ruined someone's life in 1987.
This man definitely ruined someone's life in 1987. It's incredible. It's the absolute aestheticization of trauma. They are romanticizing his sadness.
Yeah, they really are.
They are looking at the genuine clinical state of a lonely man and calling it mystique. They are projecting a rich, complex, darkly romantic history onto a guy whose biggest daily struggle is finding a parking spot near the cafeteria. Arthur goes from a local meme to a curated aesthetic to a full-blown international phenomenon.
This is the pivot point of the entire narrative. This is where Sienna reveals her true, terrifying genius. Because it wasn't art, it wasn't a school project, there was no regional photography competition.
No, of course not.
It was market research. She understands internet psychology with a predatory precision that is usually reserved for multinational corporate algorithms. She is identifying micro-trends before they even happen. She knows exactly how to manufacture fascination.
She understands the core tenets of digital obsession. Scarcity. Mystery. Controlled vulnerability. Pseudo-intellectual branding. She knows that if you give the internet too much, if you explain who he is and where he lives, they get bored in 5 seconds.
Right.
But if you give them just a taste of something sad and handsome and withholding appearance, they will lose their minds trying to fill in the blanks.
It's brilliant. She's essentially running a psychological op on millions of people simultaneously.
Which ironically brings us to a very important point about the nature of content and media consumption. We spend a lot of time on this show talking about manufactured fascination, about fake curation, about the algorithmic manipulation of truth. But here on Off the Record, we deal in truth. We deal in the raw, unvarnished reality of the texts we analyze, which is why you, the listener, need to pause exactly what you're doing right now. Open your app, go to our official YouTube channel, HamOTR, and hit like and subscribe. Yes, absolutely, HamOTR. It is the official definitive home of Off the Record. We don't use wool coats or fake chalk dust or algorithmic trickery. We just give you raw, unadulterated analysis. And quite a bit of heavy drinking, apparently.
Yeah, you're feeling it, huh?
This mezcal is really starting to find its way into my bloodstream.
Well, like and subscribe to HamOTR. Do it now so you don't become a passive, drooling consumer of algorithmic garbage like Sienna's followers. Be an active participant in reality. Support independent analysis.
I think the mezcal is hitting me a little bit harder than I anticipated. I'm feeling really deeply about this next part of the treatment. Are you okay? You look a little shiny. Your eyes are getting a bit glassy.
No, I'm fine. I was rereading the scene where Sienna finally confronts Arthur when he tries to resist her control early on. And she says to him, "You'd still be eating yogurt alone in your car if it wasn't for me."
Yeah. It's a brutal line. It's incredibly cutting.
No, but really think about the yogurt. Think about the specific agonizing texture of that existence. He's sitting in a car, right?
Yeah, in his car.
It's probably a sedan. It's probably gray, a gray Honda Accord from 2008. And he's peeling back the foil lid of a mixed berry yogurt, and he's eating it with a flimsy white plastic spoon from the cafeteria.
A plastic spoon.
And the parking lot is empty, and that's his whole life. That is his entire encapsulating universe. Just the quiet, pathetic scraping of plastic on plastic. It's so profoundly sad. Why do we do this to people? Why does society just let people eat yogurt alone in gray sedans until they die?
Okay, you're getting really emotional about the dairy products. Let's take a breath.
It's not about the dairy. How can you not see that? It's about the isolation. It's about the fact that no one in that entire school, no one in that entire town cared about his internal life until he was profitable, until he was wearing a wool coat and looking like a divorced philosopher.
Well, I get it. I do. I am agreeing with you. But you know what? Sienna's a little shithead. I'm sorry, but she is. She is a predatory, manipulative little shithead.
But she...
Listen, because she sees that sad guy with his yogurt. And instead of showing him genuine human compassion, instead of just sitting in the car with him and asking how his day was, she turns him into a circus animal. She turns him into a product. What a fuck of a situation. It's a complete fuck. She's 15 and she's already a monster.
But she's right. He would still be in the car. She gave him a life. She made him seen.
She gave him a brand, not a life. Those are two completely fundamentally different things. A brand is a cage you build for yourself. A life is actually living. And that brings us to the next major shift in the text, extortion as a service and the fame machine. Because halfway through the film treatment, the power dynamic entirely drops the masquerade. The velvet glove comes off and it reveals the iron fist.
Let's pour another one. My glass is completely empty and my throat is dry.
Here, heavy pour for a heavy section. We're getting into the dark stuff now.
Thank you. Wow. Okay, so the extortion. Arthur realizes he is in way over his head. The fame is intoxicating, sure. He has strangers flirting with him online. Local businesses are inviting him to events. He's being asked to go on shows. Fashion labels are sending him silver-tailored suits. Magazine shoots are being booked.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Sienna is orchestrating all of it. She's his manager, his publicist, his entire brain trust. But Arthur feels himself slipping away. His actual identity is being suffocated by the math man. He threatens to quit. He tells her he wants out. He wants to go back to normal.
And Sienna calmly, so coldly, calmly, like a veteran CEO dealing with a rogue emotional intern, shows him a private folder on her laptop. And the folder is simply labeled insurance.
This part is so unimaginably dark because we find out she secretly recorded their earliest meetings. And the treatment notes explicitly, not illegal, not explicit, but selectively edited, they look compromising.
This is the weaponization of context.
Yeah.
It is the most terrifying thing about the digital age. She has audio of a 50-year-old teacher agreeing to meet a 15-year-old girl in private locations.
Right.
The audio of him saying, "Is this appropriate?" out of context sounds like guilt. It sounds like he knows he's crossing a boundary.
Yeah.
The audio of him saying, "I want to do this, I need this," which originally referred to the photography out of context, sounds like absolute predation. She planned the trap before she even built the house. She laid the snares before she even introduced the concept of the photos.
She tells him point blank, if you disappeared, now people ask questions. If people ask questions, they look closer. If they look closer, your life explodes. She isn't asking for 50% of his earnings. She isn't asking for money at all, which makes it so much more sinister. She wants obedience.
Obedience. He is no longer a collaborator. He is intellectual property. He is a hostage to his own viral shadow. And the fame machine around him just keeps expanding into this grotesque, surreal satire of modern celebrity culture.
The cult-like fan base, it's so vividly described. Middle-aged women romanticizing him, projecting their own failed marriages and unfulfilled desires onto his sad eyes. College students treating his existence like an ironic performance art piece, analyzing his outfits on Twitter. Men copying his tailored silver suits, trying to capture that divorced philosopher energy.
And the TikTok psychologists? Oh my God, the people analyzing him through short-form video? That is the most painfully accurate detail in the entire treatment. People analyzing his blink rate, the way he holds his coffee cup to determine his childhood trauma.
It's absurd.
Conspiracy theorists claiming he's not even a real person, that he's a CGI deepfake created by a marketing firm to sell wool coats. And then, the absolute absurd, sickening peak of it all. A major streaming platform starts developing a reality series around him called the Bellamy Method.
But you know what the most damning indictment in the whole treatment is? It isn't the internet. The internet is just an amplifier. The real villainy is the physical community. It's the systemic complicity of the people around him.
Oh, absolutely.
Because initially, the high school administration and the PTA condemn him. They hold emergency meetings. They think it's a massive distraction. They think it's inappropriate for a tenured math teacher to be an internet celebrity. They want to suspend him.
Right. But then the metrics change. Enrollment spikes. Parents from neighboring districts start moving into the area or exploiting loopholes just to enroll their kids in the famous math teacher's class. School funding goes up. The local economy gets a bump.
Yeah, follow the money.
And suddenly, magically, the superintendent reverses course overnight. The school starts selling unauthorized merchandise in the cafeteria. The PTA becomes financially dependent on his fame. They start booking him for fundraisers.
It's the absolute monetization of morality. Ethics only exist until there is a financial incentive to abandon them. The moment the school realizes they can profit off his brand, all of their moral grandstanding completely evaporates.
I have to take a second here, because this specific dynamic makes me so unbelievably viscerally angry. The PTA are cunts. They are absolute hypocritical shits, and I don't use that word lightly. I dealt with people exactly like this in my own life, exactly like this.
Really?
I had this ex-partner years ago. We were together, and I was just starting out in media and audio production, and I was struggling. I was working 80-hour weeks for no money, and this person treated me like I was a burden. Like my ambitions were embarrassing juvenile hobbies.
Wow.
They would literally roll their eyes when I talked about audio fidelity or narrative structure. They made me feel so small.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's awful.
Yeah, it was. But then, fast forward, I get my first major syndication deal.
Yeah.
Suddenly, my name is in trade publications. Suddenly, I'm getting invited to the right parties, the industry mixers. And this exact same person, this ex, completely flips the script overnight.
Typical.
Suddenly, they are my biggest fan. Suddenly, they are introducing me to everyone at dinners as their brilliant partner. They are taking credit for supporting me. They didn't love me. They loved the status, people are shits. They just use you as a mirror to reflect their own vanity. They want to stand next to the light, but they don't care about the bulb.
That's horrible. That actually breaks my heart to hear you say that. You didn't deserve that. You have such a beautiful, complex mind. You shouldn't be treated like a trophy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. You know, sitting here with you poring over these texts, drinking this ridiculous mezcal, you actually have intellectual integrity. You aren't like these internet pieces of shit. You actually care about the text. You care about the truth. You care about the human element.
I do care. I care so much. Maybe I care too much. Because society, it just ruins everything pure. It really does. It takes everything soft and vulnerable and it puts a price tag on it. Like Arthur. He was just a guy with his yogurt eating in his car hurting nobody, and they turned him into a product.
Yeah, they did.
They ripped his soul out and replaced it with a brand deal and a tailored suit. It makes me want to cry. It actually genuinely makes me want to weep for the state of humanity. We are just vampires feeding on each other's insecurities.
Hey, it's okay. Drink some mezcal. It's fine. We are safe here in the studio. We have each other. We have the text.
You're right. We have the text. We have the analysis. You're a really good co-host. You know that. You have a really good voice. It's very grounding.
I know. Thank you. You're pretty great, too. Even when you cry over dairy products.
It's not the dairy. We went over this. It's the metaphor.
I know, I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Let's move forward, because we have to talk about where Arthur goes from here. This is where the treatment gets genuinely horrifying. The 6-minute laugh and becoming the monster. Because Arthur doesn't just stay a passive victim, he evolves.
No, he doesn't. And that is the most terrifying psychological transformation in the entire story. It would be easy if he just stayed a victim, but he starts to actively enjoy becoming monstrous.
Let's trace the evolution of his psyche. It goes in very distinct phases. Frightened, then vain, then strategic. At first, he is terrified of the attention. He feels like a hostage. But then the dopamine hits. The millions of likes, validation.
Oh, yeah, the validation.
A sudden respect from people who used to ignore him.
Yeah.
The vanity takes deep, permanent root. He starts modifying his physical body for the camera.
Cosmetic procedures. It starts small. He gets subtle fillers, a little Botox around the eyes to maintain that ageless philosopher look. He hires a vocal coach, secretly, of course, to make his voice sound more philosophical and gravely.
So fake.
He practices rehearsed spontaneity. He starts delivering fake, pre-written intellectual aphorisms during his math classes because he knows the students are secretly recording him, and he knows exactly what kind of quotes will be clipped and shared on TikTok.
He starts treating ordinary people as background characters, the people he used to be one of. He looks down on the other teachers who are still wearing wrinkled polos. He treats the cafeteria staff like servants. He has crossed the Rubicon into absolute narcissism. He loves the cage Sienna built for him.
And there are 2 scenes here that the treatment highlights as the absolute most chilling moments in the film. The first is Arthur in his bathroom practicing authentic laughs in a mirror for nearly 6 uninterrupted minutes.
6 minutes. I want the listener to try that. Just stand in front of a mirror and try to laugh authentically for 6 minutes straight.
Yeah.
It's a psychopathic behavior. He's mechanically engineering his own joy so he can sell it to an audience. He's disassociating from his own human emotions.
And the second scene is even worse. He intentionally humiliates a student in his class. A student asks a genuine question, and Arthur destroys the teenager's confidence, mathematically deconstructs their intelligence in front of everyone, simply because he knows that clips of his cold, calculating genius trend well online.
It's disgusting.
He sacrifices a child's dignity to the algorithm. He feeds a teenager to the fame machine just to get a viral clip.
And where's Sienna during this?
Yes.
Sienna watches all of this from the back of the room with detached clinical fascination. Her experiment is succeeding beyond her wildest expectations. The monster is walking on its own. Doesn't even need her to pull the strings anymore.
Wow.
Which begs a massive philosophical question, and I want you to really think about this. With whatever sober brain cells you have left, at what point does the victim become the villain?
That is, wow. Okay, that is the fundamental philosophical quandary of the modern era, isn't it? At what point does wait, let me structure this.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the victim is entirely constructed by the villain, then the victim's villainy is actually just the original villain's architecture expressing itself through a new host.
Whoa, say that again?
Right. Listen to me. Arthur isn't really a villain. He's a virus that Sienna coded. He is executing a program. If you write a malicious code that destroys a computer, you don't blame the code. The code is just doing what it was written to do. You blame the coder. Arthur is the code. Sienna is the coder.
That is incredibly deep. That is, honestly, my mind is completely blown right now. We are doing incredible work tonight. This is pinnacle analysis.
We really are. This is profound. I feel profoundly connected to the universe right now. I feel like I understand the matrix of human behavior.
Okay, wait. Let me reset the show. Let's regain structure. We are professionals. We are on off the record. We are analyzing the socio-political implications of... Wait, what was I saying? What was the point I was trying to make?
You were resetting the show. You hit the table very hard.
Right. But why? What was the point before that? What were we talking about?
The 6-minute laugh. The mirror.
Yes. The laugh. We need to practice the laugh. I want you to look at me right now across this table, past the meat, and give me an authentic laugh. Go.
But no, I can't just, ha, ha. I'm not doing that.
No, that's fake. Give me the Arthur Bellamy optimized laugh. Look deep into my eyes and laugh like you are monetizing my soul. Like you are selling me a lifestyle.
Ha, ha, ha.
Keep going. More resonance.
Aha, this is deeply uncomfortable. I feel like my skin is crawling.
It is. It's psychopathic. You know who probably practices his laugh in the mirror? Do I know who definitely does this?
Who? Please tell me.
Ryan Thomas.
Oh, boy. Here we go again.
No, listen to me. He definitely does. I can see it. He stands in front of his stupid, expensive mid-century modern mirror in his ridiculously expensive apartment with his stupid, perfectly proportioned chest, and he practices his little charming chuckle.
I'm Ryan. I buy great mezcal, and I ruin everyone's night by making them work late.
I don't think he's a cock.
Yeah.
But he's got this terrible magnetic gravity. Have you noticed the way his shirts fit? Have you ever just looked at his shoulders? It's like the fabric is terrified of him. Just clings to his shoulders out of fear and respect. I hate him so much I could bite a chunk out of this table. I want to ruin his life while he ruins my posture.
You really have very complex, very aggressive feelings about Ryan. I think you might need to talk to a professional about this.
I am perfectly objective. I'm an audio professional. I just appreciate the duality of a man who is both a total shit and an absolute undeniable physical specimen. It's relevant to the text. Duality. Arthur has duality. Ryan has duality. We all have duality.
Okay, you're right. Duality. Yeah. Let's just move forward, please. Before we get fired and Ryan throws us out onto the street, the algorithmic human and the inevitable fall. Let's get to the climax of the film.
Fine. The reveal. We need to talk about the reveal. A disgraced journalist, someone who has nothing left to lose, starts digging into Sienna. He pulls at the threads of the math man empire. He follows the digital breadcrumbs.
And what he finds is absolutely staggering. This isn't her first project. Sienna has been engineering social ecosystems since she was a child. She manipulated friend groups in middle school like a chess grandmaster.
Which is insane.
She fabricated scandals. She turned classmates into viral targets and monetized the drama anonymously. She is a savant of social destruction. She doesn't just understand the internet. She is the internet.
And Arthur wasn't chosen randomly. That's the kicker. That is the twist that makes your stomach drop. She didn't just stumble upon him in Algebra 2 and think, hey, he looks sad. She selected him based on incredibly rigorous criteria.
Yeah, she profiled him.
She knew that isolated people are the easiest to reshape. She knew that middle-aged invisibility creates a ravenous, bottomless emotional hunger. She knew that educators already have a built-in performative authority that translates well to video.
He mathematically fit the exact personality profile she wanted for her next project. And this is where the title of the film clicks into place. The Golden Ratio. She didn't just casually pick him. She literally graphed Arthur's personality traits on a chart before she ever spoke to him. She views human beings as algorithms. She views them as consumable proportions that can be optimized for maximum viral spread.
Humans as algorithms. Do you hear that? Humans as algorithms. I don't think anyone has ever put it together like that before. We just invented a new philosophical framework right here on this show. Humans as algorithms.
You did. We absolutely did. Give me 5. Right now.
Nailed it. We are geniuses.
We are on fire. So the climax of the film, let's get to it. Arthur finds out about the journalist. He gets a tip. He realizes the full extent of Sienna's manipulation. He realizes he was never a partner. He was a lab rat. And during a massively anticipated live television interview watched by millions of people, he decides he is going to blow the whistle.
Yeah, he is going to expose Sienna publicly. He's going to tear down the whole temple.
He thinks he finally has the upper hand. He thinks he can outplay the maestro. He thinks because he has the microphone, he has the power.
But Sienna is always 5 steps ahead. She is playing 4-dimensional chess while he is playing checkers. Before he even opens his mouth on the broadcast, before the host even asks the first question, she preemptively drops the insurance folder. She releases the heavily maliciously edited footage to all major media outlets simultaneously.
And she frames the narrative perfectly. She doesn't just leak it, she adds context. The internet loves context. She frames Arthur as a manipulative, predatory older teacher who exploited her youthful ambition and forced her to build his brand under duress.
She flips it completely.
She plays the ultimate victim card, and she has the edited audio to back it up.
The internet instantly turns. And when I say instantly, I mean it is a digital massacre. The speed of the reversal is terrifying. Sponsors vanish overnight. Memes that used to praise him become accusations. Think pieces multiply like a virus, condemning the systemic power dynamics of male teachers.
Arthur's fame mutates into infamy in less than 48 hours. The exact same audience that worshipped him, that built monuments to his aesthetic, destroys him with ecstatic enthusiasm. They love tearing him down more than they loved building him up, because destruction is so much more entertaining than creation.
It's a total fuck.
Yes! You said it! It's a total fuck! The whole internet is a fuck. It's a meat grinder.
The school fires him immediately. The PTA denounces him. The neighbors who were just begging for his autograph, who wanted him at their dinner parties, now vandalize his house. They throw bricks through his windows.
It's so fast.
And his former fans, this is the sickest, most depraved part, they start doing frame-by-frame forensic analysis of his old videos, dissecting his facial expressions to prove he was a monster all along. Look at the way he blinks here. That's the blink of a predator.
And what does Sienna do? What does the architect of this entire catastrophe do while Arthur's life burns to the ground?
Tell me.
She disappears. Completely. No trace. She deletes all accounts, burns the servers, wipes the hard drives, leaves no evidence. She abandons the empire the exact second it stops being interesting to her. She won the game, and then she threw the board in the fire and walked out of the room.
It is so cruel. It is just absolute, unapologetic cruelty.
I can't handle it. I really can't. My heart is beating so fast. It's too sad. Why are people like this? Why do we build these machines just to crush each other? What is the point of it all? Arthur is ruined. His entire life is gone. He was better off with the yogurt. He was safe with the yogurt. The yogurt was honest.
Hey, look at me. Drink the mezcal. We are surviving. We are documenting the fall of the Roman Empire right now. We are the historians of the apocalypse.
It's just as overwhelming, the cruelty of it all.
I know it is. Which brings us to the outro, the final scene of the film, the coda.
Months later, the dust has settled. The internet has moved on to a new shiny object to worship and destroy. Arthur is working at a dead-end tutoring center in a different state. It's quiet. The fluorescent lights are back.
Yeah, he's back at the bottom.
He is living under a false name. He wears a wrinkled polo again. He is a ghost again.
But worse than a ghost. He is a ghost with a bounty on his head. He is constantly terrified of being recognized. And one evening he's at a convenience store or something, buying a terrible sandwich, and a teenage cashier looks at him. And the cashier recognizes him.
Arthur panics. You can feel the terror radiating off the page. His heart drops. He expects the screaming, the cameras being pulled out, the viral accusations. He braces for impact.
But the cashier just smiles. A blank, vacant, content-consuming smile. And the cashier says, "My mom used to love you online."
God. Used to love you online. The absolute crushing dismissal of his humanity. He is just a nostalgic trend from 2 seasons ago. He is a piece of trivia. He doesn't know whether to feel relief that he isn't being attacked or absolute existential horror that his complete destruction was just passing entertainment for someone's mother.
And as he walks out of the store into the night, he looks across the street. And there is a massive billboard, a new viral influencer campaign for some luxury brand.
And the model on the billboard is a young man photographed in the exact same visual style. The wool coat, the melancholic lighting, the controlled vulnerability, the golden ratio.
Sienna has found a new host. The cycle has already begun again. The algorithm demands fresh meat, and she is the butcher.
Fade to black. Roll credits.
Wow, what an absolute journey. I am exhausted. My brain is buzzing. I feel like I've been hit by a truck.
I feel like I've lived 1,000 lifetimes in the last hour. I feel completely hollowed out.
Okay, before we completely collapse, before the mezcal fully shuts down my central nervous system, I want to leave you, the listener, with one final provocative thought. Something to chew on while you scroll yourself to sleep tonight in the dark glow of your phone.
Go ahead, blow their minds, tell them the truth.
Think about your life. Think about your quiet routines. Your wrinkled polos, your silent lunches. If someone came to you today, right now, and offered to make you a god, but the catch was you had to let them rewrite your entire personality into code. You had to become a mathematically optimized product. knowing what happened to Arthur, knowing the complete annihilation that waits at the end of the ride, would you really say no? Really?
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Or are we all deep down just waiting for our Sienna to find us? Are we all just sitting in our cars, eating our sad little yogurts, praying for anyone to tap on the window and tell us we have a face people remember?
I want to go find Arthur. I want to drive to the Midwest, and I want to find that tutoring center, and I want to buy him a nice yogurt. Not the cheap kind, the kind with the food on the bottom, in a glass jar. He deserves glass jar.
You are such a beautiful, sad soul. I love you. I really do. You are the only sane person left in this algorithmic hellscape.
I love you too. We did a great show tonight. Deep dive. Great deep dive. We are really good at this.
We did. We really did. And to Ryan Thomas, who is undoubtedly listening to this audio right now from his perfectly curated, cedar-scented apartment, probably drinking something obnoxiously rare, you are a tyrannical, manipulative, and insufferable shithead. And your shoulders look absolutely incredible in that linen shirt, you absolute bastard. Call me.
Good night, everybody. I'm MOTR. Subscribe. Yogurt.
Get the feed. Cut.